Some of the tools at that time were a little bit over-engineered. Then we transitioned over to base, and suddenly new opportunities presented themselves. We had EMAG, then we had Kaufland, and then Polish Empik. After these 5 years, our scale increased tenfold. Honestly, because we've been with base for quite a good few years now, there was no real need to search for any other software provider, because they, at every single moment, whenever such a need arose, they always delivered that solution.
Given a warehouse of this size, and I would even go so far as to say for a smaller one, I couldn't possibly imagine working without a WMS. So
Repricer was extremely helpful when it came to our growth and sales on Allegro.
There was a brilliant connection with Diana, the account manager. Much of my work relies on Shopify. Honestly, it's hard for me to even imagine now how it could actually function without base.
If base wasn't there, I suspect we wouldn't have these automatic actions, and we'd have quite a lot of problems. Additional capabilities. If we're truly missing something, we absolutely don't need to look for another software provider, because they are able to deliver it to us, right? We have it included in the package price, so this is something big. Hello, my name is Igor Orłowski. I am the owner of Shelter.pl. Our store offers accessories and electronics for enthusiasts. We have many different keyboards, many products for fans of all things consumer electronics. But if someone works from home, enjoys gaming, or creates podcasts, they will surely find a great product with us. I previously ran a quite successful event agency. And then the pandemic broke out. All of our contracts went completely to ruin, and we had to quickly figure out what we should do. And because suddenly everyone started purchasing things online, and everyone required items for working remotely, that's when the concept for Shelter came into being. Demand, in a sense, truly validated our approach. We offered chairs, we offered desks, but it turned out electronics were most in demand. You know, that also fit best with the company's DNA, which feels more comfortable with this type of equipment than with furniture accessories, right? There was an idea, there was equipment, it had to be placed somewhere. And of course, the question of storage and logistics was always quite a big challenge. But I was fortunate that my parents had a rather large basement they didn't really use. So from one day to the next, on a fairly quiet street in Wrocław district, pallets of goods started arriving, and well, not everyone was pleased about it. But it was tough. We managed to get set up somehow. So it was a bit of a garage, a real garage-style company where absolutely everything had to be done with our own hands. But as sales grew, there definitely emerged a demand for slightly more ambitious software, you know. After these 5 years, our scale has increased tenfold, right? Currently, we have a company with over a dozen specialists. We try to structure this a bit by channel, similar to how we manage our sales. Of course, we operate on base, which means we have a lot of sales from various marketplaces, in fact, from all across the entire European Union. So you could say that the topic of marketplaces is one thing. However, we also run our online stores, our own channel, Shelter.pl, and separate stores for our best brands. And that's also a completely different subject where different types of customers are served. So one aspect is managing a portfolio on a Shopify store, and the other is the continuous expansion of our marketplace offerings across many channels. In December 2025, we closed at 5,000 orders, actually over 5,000 orders. When we were ending that crazy year 2020, when everything was still operating from the garage, we had I think several hundred orders, and everyone was walking on eggshells. How great! What a massive business scale, wasn't it? Now, so it's growing quite a lot. It's developing in a really good way. And with good software, sometimes it's quite difficult to even notice that the scale has actually grown so much, right? Also, at the point when a company is really focusing on its development, you simply cannot invite a new employee and just say, listen, here's some little piece of code that we wrote, it sends an email, and you'll have to dig around in this internal workings. It won't work out, would it? The transition to software like base also provides the opportunity for someone to come to work and simply jump right into the system, which can be easily demonstrated and honestly taught to use without embarrassment. So I recall back in those days, our sales were largely handled within our own CMS, not yet Shopify, and many solutions were custom built, developed by us in-house. And I must say, when I reflect on it today, it was It was truly insane. It was bordering on a miracle to manage it without making any mistakes. And I distinctly remember a situation, it was probably somewhere around the very end of 2021 or 2022, where we were actively searching for something suitable for that specific environment. We were looking for a solution that would establish for us some kind of, even a minimal warehouse management system. It wasn't presented in the best way. It didn't look too optimistic. And so we thought, and we came to the conclusion that maybe we should just see what this base offers in this matter, right? I specifically recall then that the initial beta version of WMS emerged, along with warehouse management within Base. So we concluded, all right, why should we continue to toil away in this entire quagmire? Let's give it a shot. Let's endeavor to transfer everything to a designated location and get ourselves organized there somehow. And it really turned out to be an absolutely perfect solution, because thanks to that we somehow managed to categorize all the orders and establish the entire e-commerce work process.
I'd say that everyone here is a bit hooked on these products, and everyone has their own preferences. Some factions have even formed where some prefer mechanical keyboards while others prefer magnetic keyboards. Some prefer these switches and others prefer those. And that's what's really great, because we get to discuss these products. We're always eagerly waiting for them to arrive. Often when something new is about to arrive, everyone gets really hyped up and just can't wait for it. So that's exactly how it all works. Initially, we primarily aimed our products at individuals who wanted to build their own home setup, and also for those working remotely. Naturally, these mechanical keyboards eventually appeared. That was our main product for a very, very long time. It still is, actually. But slowly we began to shift our focus a bit more towards the gaming market. More and more accessories, like for example Click and Grow, which are smart pots. And why should you buy from us? The customer gets a guarantee of a good quality product and service from start to finish. The customer can always call us, ask questions. We use these products ourselves. We truly know everything about them.
We have our own dedicated specialist right here, and this is our most significant advantage.
Saving and registering the products' serial numbers has helped us when we verify if a product returned to us, which was the one we actually sent to the customer. Because it often occurred that a customer would return a product that was completely unrelated to our store. With a warehouse of this magnitude, and I would even venture to say with a smaller one, I simply couldn't envision working without a WMS system if we wanted to maintain any standardization and, most importantly, eliminate errors, because for us that is absolutely crucial. I think it's hard for me to imagine working here without Base and these processes, but I did have the chance to work that way. Still, a lot of things had to be done from memory. Products on the shelves had to be located from memory. Overall, the work was very problematic. There were many errors because the paper descriptions often got lost or became mixed up. This then led to a lot of mistakes during both the picking and the packing processes. Thanks to Base, we now have everything organized and stored, and most importantly, we have significantly reduced the number of critical errors.
Because we operate on numerous marketplaces and also manage 3 separate websites, so in essence, consolidating all operations in a single location, from processing orders to, you might even say, handling all messages, since we also utilize Responso for that. So it definitely provides that kind of control. And it also provides ease in these processes, because even if we have new customer service staff, they have one communicator and they are always up to date with everything. So even if, for example, there are changes to orders or requests for cancellations, it's very quickly caught. And also we have, let's say, a good communication process with the warehouse. What takes, for example, 3 minutes to even replace a product that's already packed. So essentially it's this unification of all marketplaces, especially since we currently have, I think, 11, I'd say, bases currently indispensable for us. We use Repricer, especially on Allegro. We can say that we have a safely enabled feature across all our offers, but it's configured so that if someone actually comes in and wants to undercut, selling just 1 unit, then we don't participate in that. But if, let's say, the product has entered a larger distribution and we need to compete a bit on price, then we have calculated our minimum profit that we want to achieve, and it adheres to that. If the competition disappears, then of course the price also returns to our fundamental assumptions. So you could say that ever since we've had the Repricer, these prices tend to fluctuate quite a bit, but because of that, we also maintain our sales and popularity. And we can also rotate products more frequently as a result. By rotating more, you can also get better, higher prices. So then we already profit just from that. So as for not having a repricer, I used to work like that before. It's very cumbersome because then we're not focusing on all offers, but let's say on the 100 most popular ones we want to rotate, and we simply have to manually check it, right? Did the competition change something by 10 zloty or not? Or did it suddenly turn out there's no competition, we can raise the price? So, without a repricer, it seems to me that maybe 50 products or even 100 could be managed with what we might call minimal oversight. And that in total would have to be a full-time person, I think, right? Because it's like, let's say, even if you just check twice a day, 100 offers, clicking through them, verifying, and then possibly changing them, that would be quite difficult. But this way we have a repricer, so 2,500 offers are automatically controlled on an ongoing basis, starting sales abroad. As for listing and processing orders, thanks to Base, it's basically simplified to a minimum. One could say that when someone starts selling on Allegro, expanding to foreign markets with Base isn't much different because all the orders will come into the same places, only the language, of course. Here on Responso, you'll have to translate, but that's really not a problem, no.
In Base, I maintain a product database that is connected to our stores, among other things, and all product management relies entirely on this Base system. Whether it's inventory levels, pricing, or various types of promotions, everything is managed through Base here. With Diana, our account manager, we have a great connection, and she responds very quickly. If there's any problem with a ticket that gets stuck somewhere, or anything gets held up, or even if I sometimes can't get through to some support, Diana always helps us. A significant part of my work relies on Shopify. Honestly, it's just really difficult for me to even picture now how it could possibly operate without Base. Shopify, despite being a solution primarily designed for the American market and not particularly well suited for the Polish market, well, with Base, it actually integrates quite seamlessly for us, and we haven't encountered any significant problems with it. I'm not sure if there's any feature quite like that for these particular products, which import, export, it's really great, you know. Base is a comprehensive solution that enables us to manage sales from the moment a product is introduced to the store all the way through to a potential complaint, covering the entire order process. My colleagues here often tease me saying my motto is it's pointless, because for me everything just seems to be without purpose, as I firmly believe that everything can be done more easily. And I always strive for that, for things to be made simpler. Base truly makes it possible to work with ease.
So I honestly believe this, and that's a very honest answer. A well-managed e-commerce business absolutely must have some kind of proper-ish ERP system, some sensible invoicing solution, and some effective warehouse management. And actually, because we've been with Base for a good few years now, where I feel like we've seen this software develop right before our eyes, and in a very good direction, there really hasn't been a need to look for any other software provider, because whenever a need arose, they always provided that solution. Now, I hope it won't sound too much like an ad for the enterprise package. However, ever since we became part of the Base Enterprise Client Group, additional opportunities have opened up for us. If we actually need something, we don't have to look for another software provider at all, because they are able to deliver it to us, right? It's included in the package price, so that's a big deal. Yes, exactly so. So at this point, it's more like if we need something, then we contact our supervisor and we try to sort it out, right? Yes, I'm in the system all day, and in e-commerce, I think it's the company's absolute management center. Right? Well, if something goes wrong, then with a well automated workflow, it's immediately caught, looking at it from above, you know. So yes, absolutely. I mean, if I wasn't looking there, then where exactly, right? Base Analytics definitely helps a lot. It helps because it's a very simple report, right? That is calculating the profitability for each specific channel. At the moment, when we have, I don't know, a certain number of X marketplaces, each has a different margin, meaning commission. Shipping costs are different, and the return percentage is also varied in other places. Having a very quick look at what the profitability is for each specific channel is extremely helpful. If someone tried to calculate this themselves, it would truly take them a very, very long time. As for the biggest challenges that are currently ahead of us, well, considering that we are on so many channels and operate in many different countries, And we also have our very own sales channels, our own online stores. Well, then maintaining a consistent pricing policy presents quite a significant challenge, doesn't it? Considering how e-commerce currently functions, one must operate quite prudently, both within our own store and across various marketplaces, as well as in other countries where we conduct sales. So it presents quite a significant challenge to bring all of these elements together into a sensible policy. However, there's also a very helpful feature within Base where we have the capability to set up a multitude of different price lists, which are frequently calculated automatically based on some foundational one. This allows us to, let's say, at least automate all of this. However, pricing policy and our presence across all channels is currently the biggest challenge. In recent years, we have certainly expanded our sales quite significantly within the European Union. The topic of export is still on the table. It is not currently the highest priority. However, for quite some time now, we've been considering launching offline sales, and we have some insights suggesting that Base might also help us integrate certain processes for both online and offline sales. So it's definitely an improvement that we are eagerly awaiting. Having it, it would certainly be much easier for us to open a physical store. We have a lot to do here in Poland because more and more major electronic brands are entering our market, so we are also competing more intensely with the biggest players. This means we have quite a lot of work right here in our own domestic market. However, we are constantly expanding our presence in other countries as well and making our own way there. Overall, we are on the enterprise package, so the possibilities are truly immense. So we're moving forward.